This film is amazing. Amazing. Hiya! Thank you for joining me today. I want to talk about a film which is on my AFI list, something that I've been challenging myself to go through quite recently. This film is called It Happened One Night. Now, I'd never heard of the film, which is probably something that I should get a little bit of a slap for, because it's a film that now I know more about it, I can't believe I'd never heard of the film. I think that's shocking. I'm going to blame myself. I'm not going to blame anyone else. I'm going to say it's my fault. I should know more about this film. I didn't. Totally on me. Absolutely on me. Especially when you consider some of the actual feats that this film has achieved within its, let's say for example, its awards. Yes, it should have stuck with me, should know more about it, but I didn't. So, apologies for that. However, here we go. So, It Happened One Night is a film from 1934, directed by Frank Capra, the great Frank Capra. The only other film I know by Frank Capra that I've actually watched is obviously It's a Wonderful Life. Love the film, it's a Christmas staple, goes on every single year. But I didn't really know much else about his directorial films. So this was a bit of a new one for me. So, the film stars Claudette Colbert and Clark Gable. Now, obviously I've seen Clark Gable in a number of films. I've never seen Claudette Colbert in anything whatsoever. And I find that shocking. I know she's had a great career. I've since looked her up. I've had a look at the films she's done. She's done quite a lot of films with Fred MacMurray, who I thought was fantastic in Double Indemnity. And but I didn't know anything about her whatsoever, so I had no real understanding of who she was. I think the woman's gorgeous. She looks absolutely fantastic on film, and her acting is amazing. She really is great. What threw me off about this film from 1934 is that the humour is outstanding in this film. The humour is really, really great. The subtle moments, the touches, I found myself laughing out loud more in this film than I actually think I laughed at any comedy last year. So all of the new releases of comedies last year, I'm going to include Neighbours 2, or Bad Neighbours 2 if you're in the UK, Ghostbusters, which I guess was a comedy. Any other comedy I watched last year, this film had me laughing far more than any of those. Great film. Obviously it's in black and white. It tells the story of a rich heiress who basically runs away from her father because he doesn't approve of the man that she's got married to. Given the film's from 1934, it treats the subject of marriage, for me, really very interestingly, in that the subject of annulment comes up, the subject of not necessarily being necessarily committed to the person you're married to comes up, like getting married on a bit of a flight, a bit of a fancy. And I was quite surprised at that for 1934. I imagine that would have been quite risque, quite interesting at the time. The film's one of the last comedies I actually produced before Hollywood started to do that self-policing of content, etc. within the film. So, you know, Hollywood went through a period where they cracked down on lewd content, etc., and they decided to take these things out of the films. And it was quite interesting that this film had so much of that kind of interesting, vibrant humour within it that perhaps was slightly squashed out of films that came later. In terms of the rest of the film, I won't spoil anything about what goes on in the film. All I'll say is that the humour between the two main characters, the dialogue between the two main characters, is outstanding. Like I said, at several points I had laugh out loud moments. I kind of fell in love with Claudette Colbert's character very, very slightly. I thought she was, she was incredibly endearing. That kind of spoilt heiress who learns to sort of love a different life. It's really very interesting. There's a few little biblical references there about, you know, the walls of Jericho and stuff, which are interesting as little metaphors for what's going on within the relationship between the two of them. And I found that was outstanding. It had so much to recommend it. Loved the film. Absolutely outstanding. One thing I'll say about the film, it's the first film in Oscars history to win the big five categories of Best Film, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress and Best Screenplay. And that was something that wasn't then repeated until mid-70s, I think 75, something like that, with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So it stands alone as the first film to achieve that, and for that to be a comedy film, we know today the Oscars, they're not going to nominate anything in terms of comedy films. It's not something they really do these days. So, you know, a comedy film gets no joy from the Oscars really, unless it's The Martian, which was hilarious. But it's, you know, for me it had such quality within the roles, within the characters. Yeah, it's a great film. Go watch it. I love Claudette Colbert. I'm going to be searching out some more of her stuff. I very stingily gave It Happened One Night a 9 out of 10. It's so close to a 10 out of 10. It really is. It's so close. I just couldn't quite get it there. It's one of those things where you're thinking 10 out of 10, and I just think, what's better, this or Godfather Part 2? And if the answer is Godfather Part 2 quite easily, then I don't give it a 10. It's as simple as that, because, 10s are, there should be like 4 or 5 10s in the world as far as most people are concerned. That's my opinion anyway. But yeah, 9 out of 10, great film, thoroughly recommend it. Do go watch it. Try and hunt it out somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix at the moment, so if you're in the UK, go find it there, give it a look. Great film. Okay, thanks for joining me for this review. I'll try and watch something else on my AFI list quite soon. I'm probably going to slow down slightly because they're becoming harder to find without going out and buying the Blu-ray or DVD. So, but I will try and do at least one a week and see if I can catch up with those. Okay, thanks for joining me today. Feel free to comment, give me information, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye! Bye!